Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to do a quick sound check here. Make sure you guys can hear me. It looks like my mic's working on my end. It is 8 a.m. Chicago Standard Central Time, and first day of the month for trading, guys. December 2nd, 2019, last month of the year. Uh, Last trading day of the month. We're moving into the holiday weekend. Things we can still expect to be a little slow this week, but picking up tomorrow and the rest of the week. Possibly more volume coming. People still probably on vacation here on Monday. Let's take a look at the news events that we have going on today. At 10 a.m., we have ISM manufacturing PMI and construction spending, as well as ISM manufacturing prices for the US dollar. Tonight, for the Australian dollar, we have the RBA rate statement. And then tomorrow, there's really not much besides total vehicle sales, which are going to be occurring throughout the day. So those are the news events we have here for today and tomorrow. Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment change, and the overnight rate and Bank of Canada rate statement. Those are big Canadian dollar movers, and then ISM non-manufacturing on Wednesday. But really, Thursday for oil, OPEC meetings, guys. That's going to be the big one. And then Friday's a pretty big news day with all the employment numbers on Friday. So that's going to be a market mover. Let's take a look here at the indexes. We'll start off with the S&P 500. Um, in the overnight session, there was actually a really nice 50% retracement long right after the market had opened. We came straight out and traded a halfway back long. I'm going to go to a 5-minute chart here, actually. We came straight out. We had a halfway back long, and that went two targets. It was front run and then ran to its profit target. That high to high then was front run at its 50%, did not hit its target, came back down right as the European markets opened, completed its profit targets, and the same anchor new high broke. This is the same anchor new high setup. This would have been the buy zone. However, when that broke, we actually began selling off and retesting into the gap fill. So we've just traded down into the gap fill. We obviously have traded that gap fill in the after hours. Technically has not traded during regular trading hours. But coming out of this high, I want to point out that there was an extension from the low before breakdown to low at 31.5375 that traded once to target, same anchor new low. So the longs, we'd like to see it get back above that 31.4975 to confirm these support levels. But if you look at, I'm going to go to an hourly chart, this market from that higher time frame, we do have a full 50% retracement from last Tuesday's low, which is 31.28, to what is the high of Wednesday, which was our last full trading day. Thursday and Friday were both partial trading days with closures that were early. So that halfway back from that Tuesday low to the Wednesday high did trade shortly after the market reopened on Thursday evening, and it retested on Friday during a regular trading hour session. It was a shortened session, but it did test, and you can actually see there was a lot of volume there. This candle here, there's a ton of volume on that bid. So this 50% retracement longs, guys, if we can continue in an uptrend, is going to give us targets up at 31.61. 31.61 is our hourly upside profit target. Okay. So be aware of that. Let's move on. So to match up, the VIX has been doing the same thing for a few days here. As long as the VIX continues to hold below the 1440s, we're expecting the VIX to complete the downside profit target of 1357. That is last week's high of Monday to the low of Tuesday. We had a 50% retracement Tuesday. We retested those levels on Friday, and we're still looking for the VIX to make its way down to its 1357. Now, as the VIX makes its way to its short targets, we can expect the indices to move up into their long targets. If the VIX breaks above 1440, that would break the short trend in the VIX, and there would most likely be a result of a break in the long trend for the S&P 500. Nasdaq, it's a very similar setup to the S&P 500. You have the low of Tuesday to the high of Wednesday, that halfway back traded after close. We then retested once, twice, and now three times. So you can see the Nasdaq's actually has a little weaker than the S&P 500 has been. I also want to point out on the daily chart, you go to a 4-hour as well, that we are running up into an extension long target. That extension long target is up at 84.38. 84.38 is the extension target from October 28th high to high. Okay, October 28th high to high. That 50% retracement long is 82.53 quarter, 82.53 quarter, and that target has completed. If we fail to hold this halfway back here in the Nasdaq and fail to continue to go straight up, there's a possibility that this same anchor new high does come into play again. So I'm just making myself aware of what that level would be if it does come down to it. It's 82.93, what that level would be, and then also 38 too. So I'm going to set an alert on both of those levels, 83.32, 21, and then the full 50% retracement would be 82.93. Now that's far out. A lot of things would have to happen for us to get down to those levels, but I do want to just point that out as a potential area we would move down into if we do not hold. If we continue to hold above the 61.8, we are bullish above those levels. There is no reason to be bearish above those levels. Bullish above 84.80 is the profit target. 84.80. All right. Moving on to let's see here. We go to oil. Oil. I did not trade Friday, but oil had one of the biggest moves that we've seen in months to the downside. Now, there's a couple of different variations of setups to the short here in oil. First, you have the full halfway back for the year, right? So the highs of 2019 to that low. This had pierced at 61.8. Then we had that drone strike here on was that September 16th that just shot the market up, but we completely fell back under. You can actually see there was some consolidation at that 50% level. We then retested those levels. At the same time, the retest of that larger 50% retracement was also the break of the 61. It's the pierce of the 61 from the drone strike in Saudi Arabia to high. Now, we came all the way back down. We broke out of this wedge, this multi-day wedge here at highs, and came all the way back down to the bottom of our range here. And there is the possibility, or there was last night, you saw it if you were looking at the market. There was the halfway back short that traded, and that's what we collapsed from. And then there was the extension from 57.51 to low, and that is technically broken. Initially off the Sunday night open, there was participations in sellers at the 56.27. So we do have a possible trend break. Even though we have this massive move down, you don't want to hold recency bias. The other situation that we have possibly run into as a variation of resistance is the halfway back from that Friday high to low. Okay, there is a resistance level there, but we have run all the way back down to the bottom of range. And last time we sold off all the way from 58, it was like 300 tick move, 58.18, 58.16 level, all the way down to 54.85, and then we went all the way back up the following 2 days. So we sold straight down and then went straight back up. Now, once again, Friday, we sold straight down. First of all, in a half-day session, not many people were here. And there's very well could be the possibility that we go straight back up to the top of the range. So I'm going to be paying attention to this first long entry at 55.85 here today. 55.85 for that halfway back long. So pay attention to that level. I'm going to go ahead and mark it up with an alert. Moving on to bonds /ZB. You had this 50% retracement short that's traded multiple times. We have officially, as of today, broken the full halfway back long from lows. We've broken the full halfway back long from lows, which validates this higher time frame short setup. So that higher time frame short setup is the full 50% retracement short from the high of October 8th too low. That 50% retracement short is 160.16. 160.16. And its downside profit target here is 153.18. That's a huge move. It's basically seven full points in bonds, and there's still plenty to come. Now, we had a traditional blowout, and we are now in possible extension. So the first move I'd look for resistance above is this extension 158.03, 158.03. So I'm going to set an alert at 158.03. If we do not hold this extension, guys, there is the possibility that we do come full halfway back short one more time, all the way up into what is right now 159.01. 159.01. All right. So those are the more important levels here for bonds. Let's take a look at some of our other charts. Currencies. For those of you guys who trade them, the AUD/USD has broken a downtrend, and I am looking for a full halfway back long. There is a full halfway back short that we could run up into from the high of October 31st to low. We could possibly squeeze all the way up into that 68.40 level. Like I said, that RBA rate statement is later this evening, so it's pretty intense. I'm looking for the full halfway back long if we can get it. Right now, there's a higher time frame aggressive series of extensions that are trading. From the high of 67.76 to high, we've gone once to target, twice to target. This would be the third time. And then I'm looking at the full 50% retracement long. Those are the two levels I'm watching for AUD/USD. For the Great Britain Pound USD, we have been flagging on the daily chart for quite some time. You have this massive traditional that on some Brexit news blew straight up to -23, right to the -61. We then had the extension from 125.81 highs to highs. We've traded it, top of the range, traded it, top of the range, back down, held a higher low, and since that higher low, we have actually been holding 50% retracement long levels. So that's from this low of Friday, the 22nd of November to high. You can see that level stuck pretty aggressively on Friday, and we're moving back up to the top of the range. That profit target is 129.79. Now, if we get through, if we can get through this high here at 129.51, I will look for that next halfway back long. But right now, we've been unable to get through 129.50 area, and so there really just has not been a halfway back long outside of a retest of the higher time frame support, which is 128.86. But we have, every time we've run into these highs, we've fallen back down to the bottom of the range. So I am not interested in buying a halfway back, because at this point in time, we go to the top of the range, the bottom of the range, the top of the range, the bottom of the range. So if we go through the top of the range here, I will then look at the full 50% retracement. But if we just stick and do not get through the top of the range, then I'm just assuming we're going to go back to the bottom of the range rather than looking for a more aggressive continuation. The euro here broke its trend, traded a 50% retracement long. That long has just completed its profit target into the opposing short. The opposing short here, guys, is from the high of November 11th to low, and we are now dipping inside of those 50% retracement levels. We are dipping inside of those 50% retracement levels. So this is an entry into the downtrend. The euro has multiple targets to the downside. We have the full halfway back from the October 31st high to low. traded, rotated down, we made a new low, and then this is that next daily measured move in the euro. This is an entry into the potential trend to the downside in the euro. USD JPY, guys, we have an extension sequence from the high of the 25th to high, traded Thursday right after the market opened. The indexes fell. The USD JPY fell as well. It was sloppy. There wasn't a lot of market participants. Holiday week. We then retested those levels and completed overnight. Same anchor new high here, guys. Just traded in a front run of 2 ticks. Upside targets are 109.84. And this has been a really nice trend here in the USD JPY. Really nice trend. And that's all I have for those currencies. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for this morning's trade plan. If you enjoy this content, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave your comments below. For those of you guys who have recently joined the Startup Trading chat room, welcome. I will be talking to you guys there, and then see you guys in the next video. Take care.